know, you talk in front of your students every single day, and it's nothing, but boy, my arms are a little shaky and a little nervous. You start talking to a group of adults and colleagues like you, and it's certainly a different feeling. So when I stammer, you'll know it's because I'm nervous, but I'll do the best I can. I am Jamie Harrington. Oh, that's right, I've got the clicker. I am Jamie Harrington. I am the social studies teacher, a social studies teacher at the Minnesota Valley Area Learning Center. This is my 18th year at the ALC in Montevideo. And as I kick things off, I just kind of wanted to mention, we've talked about it, and we don't think that we're any more special than any of the other schools represented here at the MAP conference and around the state. We're really surprised and honored to have the honor bestowed upon us last year. And, it's really kind of a special thing. So it's nerve-wracking, but we're happy to be able to kind of talk about our school a little bit and let you know how we do things. We don't think we're any more special, but I think we're all a little bit special. I think we do some pretty great things. So with that, I'll continue. We've got about an hour to fill, I think, isn't that right? And so because we're all nervous, I thought instead of going forward with the presentation, we could just have everybody introduce themselves, fill the entire hour, it's all done, no more shaking arms or anything. No. We did prepare a few things, so I guess we can move forward. Our districts, or the schools that we serve, include 4 different school districts: Montevideo, Dawson Boyd, Lackawanna Valley, and Yellow Medicine East. And that covers a pretty wide area out in western Minnesota. Might be hard to see on the map up there, but we're about 2.5 hours west of Minneapolis on Highway 7. Not in the middle of nowhere, but about 10 minutes west of there. We also, through our independent study program that Larry will be talking about in a little bit, serve about 25 other school districts where they can get recovery credit and other things. So we see a lot of students over the course of the year. The next thing that we're going to talk about, or that we're going to see, our fancy little presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of our school, but first we have a short video that our MapStars students produced last year. So Emily will quick play for us. Emily will quick play for us. Pretty sure it's Taylor's fault. Full disclosure, the clip where I'm talking to students and pointing at the book, I was literally saying, they're taking video now, so I'm going to point at the book. Pretend like you're learning, it'll be great. So literally that's what I was saying. A little bit of our history. When I first showed up in the fall of 1997, we were split between 2 different really cruddy buildings with almost no leadership. The picture on the left over there was our middle level building. I think generously could describe it as a tin shack with some wood siding stapled to the side of it. It was not good at all. And that was the better of our 2 buildings. It was drafty, it was cold. We at one point found ceiling tiles that were completely covered with mold on the other side. Again, this was our good building. The other building was on Main Street, an old building that was falling apart. Our our favorite part of being in that building was during the spring melt, when the cracks in the ceiling of the building, the roof of the building, would produce waterfalls where we had sheets of plastic in the back of the building to run the water back out of the building so we didn't have to swim to get to our one working toilet that we had in each building. So lots of issues that we had trying to just make it a comfortable environment for students. And a big shift for us happened when we got new leadership. And two area principals who had retired at the same time were talked into being our co-directors. Bob Glomstead from Lacaparo Valley and Doug McCoss from Yellow Medicine East came on board and really shifted things for us. They came in and demanded new tables and chairs. And when their bosses resisted, they said, then we quit. We don't need to be here, we're retired. If you want these students to feel like they're first-class students, you need to treat them like first-class students. And the eyes got big, and they said, well, let's see what we can do. And then they said they deserve textbooks. Whoa, that was a big revelation. Textbooks, whoa, all right. Instead of us having to come to the math conference and steal some from vendors and make illegal copies. We actually had textbooks that were the teacher's edition and the student edition and others. It was great. But they demanded that we receive the things that our students really deserve. And it was a huge shift for us. And then after a little while, they decided that those two crappy buildings weren't good enough for us either. And through a lot of hard work from a lot of people, we ended up in the building on the right-hand side, which was an old Runnings building that was converted for us and renovated. And I still pinch myself. It's been 15 years or something since we've been in our new building, and I still pinch myself because it's such a great place to work. The biggest thing I think is we have, much like I'm guessing most of you, a dedicated, hard-working staff that is extremely patient and really truly cares about the kids. And that's, I think, what makes it work for us. We have continued to get strong leadership, even though McCoss and Glomstead retired. Rhonda Brandt is our new director, and we couldn't be happier. It's a great place to work, and when you have a staff that is on the same page, it certainly helps. It makes all the difference in the world to have people that care. One of the things that we saw lacking in our students, and then having talked to some of my colleagues in mainstream schools, they agreed that it's a problem that's all over, is a lack of leadership and a lack of students feeling empowered to be leaders. So Mrs. Brandt allowed me to start a leadership class. First hour of the day, I get a group of students that the staff helped choose that showed positive leadership qualities, and we use that as kind of a forum to sit and discuss how the school's doing, how we're doing. What are things that we need to do better? What are things that we need to improve? And it gives us kind of a nice informal setting where we get a chance to kind of work on some of those things and empower some of those students so that they can step forward and be positive leaders with the rest of the students in the building. It's a fun program. It's pretty laid back, and it's something that I think has shown some dividends. We've got a lot of really great kids, and I think they're more willing to be vocal because we do have that forum. And with that, I will turn things over to Larry. He's going to talk about a couple things for us. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Larry. Nobody ever calls me that because it's too difficult to pronounce. So all my kids, all through my years, have been known as Mr. C. And you can pick my car out because the license plate says Mr. C. So. I do all the math, and the reason I'm here, if you want to change the slide quickly, is I also am one of the independent study instructors that we have in our school. I'm sure there are other independent study programs in the state that will kind of tell you a little bit of how we work ours. It's a good way for kids to catch up on their work. And I really feel that with our independent study program, that's one of the basic reasons why we have a graduation rate every year between 90 and 95% because of our independent study program. So, okay, what it is basically is just a way for kids to catch up on credits. It's kind of like extra credit, although it's basic core classes and elective classes. And who is eligible, basically not only our kids in our school, but it's any student in the state of Minnesota as long as they're 16 years old and older and attending and a resident of the state of Minnesota. They basically it's divided up into two different sets of students. One set of students that are going to attending school at the current time, and they need to make up maybe a credit or two because they failed a class or because their school didn't give them credit for it because of attendance or something like that. They can come to our two places and make up their work. Also, the other type is for students that have withdrawn from school, and they can actually come and earn their diploma through us. We even have adults that come to our place because they dropped out of school way many years ago, but they were maybe just a couple credits short. They can come over and do some of our coursework. We also have some people that are residents of our Project Turnabout, and they come over and they can make up a little bit of extra credit during the time that they're there. Okay, basically how it works is that, first of all, they fill out some forms so that we can get them into the system and get into the MARS system. But basically it's based upon they come in once a week and pick up work, and we sit down with them and kind of go over it. Most of the work is done at home. And at the end of the one week's of work, they come back and we go over their work and give them more work, and they just keep continuing doing that. The coursework is divided up into units. Each unit represents 1 week's of work, and they need to do 18 units to earn half a credit of school, and also that would be 36 units for a whole year of school. And they just keep coming until they get the work made up. We have had kids that come to us needing 15, 16 credits because they have dropped out of school when they were in 9th grade for some reason or other, and they made it all up. They sat there with us for about 2 years and made it all up, and they got their diplomas, and how excited they are. And I guess that's about it, what I have. It's a good program, and it's a difficult one. One of the problems we have is with the area administrators that feel that we kind of water down our courses and we make it a lot easier for them. But you also have to remember that the majority of the kids that come to us are on IEPs. And so yes, it isn't rocket science, it's not calculus, it is not Boolean algebra, physics and stuff like that, but it is coursework, and it does meet the Minnesota state standards. So I'll be around later if you have any questions about our independence program. We do have, I think I've got one more slide here. Now, why is there another slide about where? We have two locations.
Go back to Jamie.
One is located in Montevideo, and then we have another location that's located in Granite Falls, because we service a pretty wide area. It's not unusual for kids to drive 40 miles one way to come to our program. And like I said, when they get that diploma, they're really excited about it. They walk out of our door when we tell them they got all their work done. If you're going to get your diploma, they walk out of their door about 5 feet off the ground. So like I said,